And welcome back. We are Echo and myself are here. We were just talking about this off the air here, but it's been a long time since we've come up here and said anything and given our renditions on things. So we wanted to get up here. We're both pretty busy now, doing other stuff, and we have our different jobs and stuff now that we're having to do during this little bit of a transition we're having here. We just wanted to make sure we had something out there for you. We're going to talk about Psy Ops a little bit tonight, and we're going to talk about some current events. And then Echo has some things he wants to share as well. Kind of go back a little bit on right now is a very confusing time for some people. And I think Echo would agree with me. And we both kind of see a movie going on, and we kind of can predict and see things that are happening. And we're living in it just like everybody else. And there's several people that maybe at this point can see this, but it's a strange time, and things. We got flooding that just happened in Texas and actually all over the country. The job that I'm currently full time doing right now, I travel a lot, and on usually the Northeast, the Midwest, South east of the country. There's been a lot of flooding and storms there. Echo is out in the West. In the far west, as I call it, in the Midwest, kind of out that way, Nevada and that area and stuff. So I'm sure you've seen some crazy weather too. But I guess I'll just kick it over to you. You were getting ready to mention something, Echo, before we started recording, and it sounded important, so I wanted to hit record first. But what's going on with you out there on that side of the world?
Yeah, speaking of weather, I just got in yesterday, and the winds were blowing. So I'm on the New Mexico-Texas border, and the winds were blowing south to north, and then an hour later they were blowing north to south, and this huge black cloud came over and just started dumping rain. So none of the weather that you're talking about is normal right now. Um, and I was talking to another friend of mine who got stuck at the Arizona border. Same thing. The winds kicked up and it was a sandstorm. They shut the freeway down. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's the weather out here is nothing that I've ever seen. Not sure what you're going through on the East Coast, but yeah, it's the weather out here is bizarre. Lots of winds, lots of rain, lots of just bizarre weather.
Yeah, it's been crazy out this way too. So I'm originally from Ohio, and I think some of the listeners know. And then my family's still up in Ohio, and their weather is almost very similar to what I experienced living in Texas, where just straight line winds would come up out of the blue. Weather will just pop through those torrential downpours like you talk about. We have a lot of
Mhm.
that in Ohio now, and that's weather systems that we've never seen in that part of the country. And then with my travels for my work, I've been down in North Carolina and Louisiana and all over, and it's just every week there is some major kind of catastrophic storm that's dumping lots of rain in places, causing a lot of flooding and stuff. Which, you know, if if you look at that, in an isolated kind of deal, it's normal, right? We have it somewhere in the country all the time, but yeah, we're seeing that out here too on the East Coast, the Northeast, Central, and then I know, and some of the listeners probably should know by now all this stuff that's happened in Texas, down in San Antonio area with the Guadalupe River, and then there was some flooding in Crawford, Texas, at a dam. I just saw today. Um, so it's happening all over. It's kind of strange. I guess one of the things is people are kind of waking up to something's not normal. One of my family members who's always kind of thought when I say this stuff, I'm just kind of out there and in La La Land. Made a comment today, which surprised me. I was over there visiting. He was watching the news, and he happened to. It's older. This is my father, by the way, and he said, the news is just, they're lying. And he said, you know what I think this weather is? He said, I think it's what weather modification. I said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it has been, and that's just a person who, he believed the news a lot. He wanted to be an informed guy and thought the news was telling him everything right. And he, with kind of his limited knowledge on, kind of what we've been following now for over a decade or close to it, he's seen it too. So, I mean, that's good science. But why? I mean, why? What do you think is going on, man? Why is it happening now?
Well, it's only been 5 years, but people are starting to wake up. You know,
Yeah,
just looking at the that page that Ezra Cohen Watnick put out, and where he says, he's you and I, I think the first time we saw it was at a David Straight um, seminar, and he talked about, I'm gonna put this out one time only, and
that's
explained
right.
it that this is a movie. I
That's
don't know
right.
if I can share. There it is. Can you see that?
Yep.
Ezra Cohen. I'm gonna spell it out one time only for those who are lost and not registering. And this was, it says 2024, but I want to say this came out probably 2020, 2021.
Like a repost maybe in 24.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll read through it real quick. Um, so from Ezra Cohen Watnick, I'm going to spell it out one time only for those who are lost and not registering the hundreds of clues we've been dropping you. Here we go, one time. Pay close attention. You are watching a movie. A lot of what you are seeing is complete bullshit and fake. It's so outrageous on purpose to get your attention at this point. It will continue until it has accomplished that goal fully. Obviously, it hasn't accomplished that goal because we're still going through this crap, and there's
Right.
still people at Applebee's that believe what's going on.
Yeah.
We all know there's no Biden presidency, or at least you and I know there's no Biden presidency. We've been
Right.
through that time and time again. When people think he wasn't inaugurated. It was a funeral service. So the real Biden was executed for his crimes long ago with Clinton. Um, we know that she's been gone. Her Twitter was taken over a long time ago.
Yeah. And there was that video where she was, collapsing outside that van, that historic, now video,
Yeah,
popular video, and they're saying that's believed to be the last time she was actually around. She was taken away then, and whoever replaced her as the public appearance is, puppet or some kind of a clone or something like that.
that's when a lot of people think that she was taken down. And it makes sense because I was just earlier trying to figure out the last time I saw the real Joe Biden, and you and I kind of talked about this off air, and I was looking at the video from Poppy Bush's funeral where they gave out the envelopes,
Right.
and it was the same Joe Biden that we have seen, or the same fake Joe Biden that we have seen for the last 5 or 6 years. And that funeral was in, I want to say 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017. It was deep, deep, a long time ago. Um, so either they had this under control back in 2017, which would make sense because when Trump gave that speech, his inaugurational speech, that they were taking power out of DC and giving it back to the public, and most of the people at that speech behind him, I mean, aside from the JAG Corps that got it behind him, didn't pay much attention to it. But it would make sense because they all at Poppy Bush's funeral when they gave out the envelopes, um, everybody acted like it was the real Joe Biden. And there's when I pulled up the picture earlier, no, it was the same guy with the same earlobe. It was not Joe Biden. So I think this goes back a lot longer than we give it credit for. I'm guessing it goes back. Right. Well, he announced in 2015, and so I'm guessing it goes back to 2016 when he won, and they probably took care of a lot of these people before that ever happened. The funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, the operation itself, I think I had mentioned, I think it goes back to JFK when he was assassinated. That's when this, whatever code word you want to give it, it's a Q operation, but there's other names for it. I think that's when it actually started. And they were like, wait a second, because what happened then is he was exposing a major part of the apparatus that runs the entire world. And he kind of got smart to it, and he was like, no, we're not going to do that. And he actually Trump is actually doing the same thing now that JFK was trying to do. Back then, unfortunately, they got JFK. They almost got Trump. Or that's another kind of discussion too. Is the assassination attempts, are those part of the show, or was that real? Was he, did they stage that in order to get people on their side? And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about, a little bit about Psy Ops later, too, is to kind of help people think kind of maybe like we think, and like others who are awake now to what's going on have figured out, is how do you know if something is a psyop, or how do you know if it's authentic or real or whatever? And there's some ways to figure that out. So we can go into that a little bit later. But I, I guess to go back to what you're saying, so how did we get? We're kind of talking about how did we get here and what is going on. You got the weather modifications, you've got flooding, you've got, is it a nefarious purpose? Or is it for the betterment of society? I mean, I know that sounds weird and probably cold when there's people dying, but I know like the flooding in Texas happened at a camp, which is traced back to some pretty prominent people and some pretty, I don't know if we want to kind of name names just so we can make sure this gets out everywhere, but if you look at Camp Mystic and that area and who it traces back to. I can tell you one person it traces back to is the founder of a huge grocery store down there, which is called HEB. I shop at HEB all the time. It was one of my favorite grocery stores actually. But if you look at, you know, the owner of that and you trace back who they married and you keep kind of going back the trail there, it kind of connects to some people that are with a certain have a certain level of prominence in the world, and some would say it may be people that we are currently in some kind of a battle with. Whether it's going to be the people that run our country, or if we're going to let an oligarchy run our country, kind of deal. I didn't know if you did you see any of that? Were you able to catch any of that about the flood?
No, no, I had no idea to trace back to any of that. I'm still pretty far from Texas, so the only thing that we get is the pictures of the floods and the camp. I didn't know it traced back to. But I'm not surprised if it traces back to HEB. It's actually a great store. I enjoyed
Yeah,
the meal too.
yeah. Yeah, it's a good place to work. They take care of their employees, but it's just interesting to see where all that comes back. And there's some masonry involved with those locations too. So, the flooding, is it connected? I don't know. I mean, is it intentional? I mean, there was the guy who owns a cloud seeding company out of Texas, the CEO, admitted that they were cloud seeding just hours, several hours, 24 hours or something like that before the flooding happened in Texas, in West Texas, which obviously the clouds would form and head that way. But he says it has nothing to do with the flooding. I mean, I don't know if you can really make that claim. I mean, if you're modifying the weather, it's it's like putting, in my opinion, it's like putting chocolate milk in water and then saying you have no idea how the water turned brown. I mean, like okay, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the storm, it stayed over Texas for like 4 days. How do you keep a storm over Texas for 4 days? And you've seen a lot of times these hurricanes in the last few years that the microwave stations pop up, the blue microwave stations, and heat the atmosphere and keep a storm over the Gulf for days at a time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And there was one, I can't remember which one it was. So much information flowing around nowadays, it's hard to keep everything track of everything. But there was one that hit California actually, out where you're at. Maybe but I wish I remember the name. It came up from Baja, and it hit through San Diego. It went up and it kind of went into the middle of California, up towards the top. Went back out towards the Pacific, looped around, went back to its original starting point, and then hit again the same, like literally like two times, and before it dissipated and headed off towards the northwest Pacific Ocean. And you're gonna tell me that's normal? Like
was
it
that
literally looked like it was. directed.
Yeah, there's nothing normal about that. And California can absorb the hits. Baja California can't. When it hits down there, it does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. So we have that going on. We have the political stuff going on. We have the battle of it's all comes down to this battle of who's going to control. There's too much information out there now, and too many people are kind of waking up to things that are just not what we were told. So we can take conspiracy, out of it and just talk the real facts. Is we all were fed certain information and certain what we were told were absolute truths, and we're finding out that they're all bullshit. And and no matter what side, I mean, the whole division thing, is still in play, and it always is. And I think people are more divided, or they think they are, with either you're a MAGA supporter or you're a anti whatever or you're a whatever. But if you're a legit human being who just wants peace and love on Earth, if you talk to anybody, if you're um, a Democrat or a Republican or a liberal or a conservative, whatever, and you talk to each other, you start to find out you actually want the same thing. So where is the division coming from? And I think that's kind of goes back to the psyop kind of thing I'm talking about. So I think when we get back from the break, it looks like we'll have to take one here. Then we can talk a little bit about a psyop. But do you have anything about that you want to kind of add?
yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to take a break here in a minute, but I don't think the Democratic Party survives this. I really don't.
I agree. Yeah.
You see this new party getting pushed, the American Party getting pushed,
Yeah.
and the division is funny because it's like, oh, Elon Musk wants to start this new party. He's not even from the States. He's South African.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that he wants to start a party doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I don't see the Democratic Party surviving this. I don't even see the Republican Party surviving this. The rhinos. I think we're long past parties now, and it's just going to come down to America.
Yeah.
And you're either gonna be a patriot or you're not. And we're seeing the first parts of that taking place now, where people are having to make a decision. They're having to make a decision on what side of the tracks they want to be on, and either self-deport and come back in the right way, or they're going to be taken out the hard way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, in this, you know, like, people want to have soft hearts and they want to say what's happening with the foreigners is terrible. But we see right now Mexico is protesting right now in Mexico City, or they were at least days or a week ago, that they wanted people that came there to speak their language, and that they wanted them to contribute to their society. So that's all we're asking here too, and come in the correct way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if you broke the law to get here, I mean, you're gonna have to pay the consequences, right? I mean, if I rob a candy bar from the store and I get caught, hey, I'm gonna have to pay the fine, or I'm gonna have to spend the day in jail, or whatever the hell it is, you
yeah.
know, right? So I mean, that's all it is here. But yeah, it looks like we're out of time here for this segment. I'm gonna go ahead and go to break, Echo, and then we'll just pick it up on the other side.
Dim lights flicker in the studio glow. Voices echo where the mystics flow. Spirits whisper in digital air. Tune in now if you dare. Aliens talk through untold night. Conspiracies hidden from blinking sight. Secrets murmur like an old affair. Dive in deep if you care. Is it a time you became all aware? Unlock the truth.
right, welcome back to the show. We're gonna get back with Echo here in a minute, but before he comes back on, I did want to talk a little bit. I think I said before our little break we had to take there about a psyop. You know, a lot of people talk about psychological operations. It's kind of like a buzzword now. That's kind of going around, and everything's a psyop. Everything's a psyop. All good thing or all bad things are psyops. All good thing, what whatever. Everybody keeps saying that stuff. Well, there's a guy. If you've heard of Chase Hughes, Mr. Hughes is a U.S. military behavior expert, and he has done a lot of research, and he kind of knows the ins and outs. Who knows? He may have some, that title, U.S. military behavior expert. Might be something more to that I don't know. Maybe he's involved with CIA or something. Who knows? But he's done a really good job. So if you go on his, Google his name or go on his YouTube or something, you can find out more on this. But I'm going to break down some of the kind of the cliff notes here of what he's discovered about what a real psyop is, so you can kind of determine when you're getting into information and you're starting to learn or just wanting to elaborate or kind of enlighten yourself to what's going on, what a psyop might be. So the first thing that Mr. Hughes talks about is something called the fate model. So the FATE model is an acronym for a psychological operation, which hijacks your mind, and it stands for focus, um, authority, tribe, and emotion. So if you're dealing with a psychological operation where it's something that's meant to manipulate you into believing a certain exact way of thinking or an exact viewpoint or on something, then they're going to use the fate model. So they're gonna grab your focus with shocking visual or phrases. They might say stuff like "This is unprecedented," or they might have 24/7 coverage. Um, they could have they always want to say stuff like, well, this is out of this world, or this is just a travesty or a tragedy or something like that. So they're going to focus you on something that is typically usually negative or very shocking, or very um, attention grabbing. And then the next one is authority, right? So they're going to tell you to trust the sources. Um, they're going to tell you that there's only a specific they're going to try to persuade you into thinking that a certain authority, and only one authority usually, is the right thing. So, for instance, back in the pandemic days, in a few years ago when we had this so-called pandemic that swept the nation, there were authorities, right, in the medical field, and anybody that dissented from that was discredited. So, there was there wasn't really a consensus that this particular viewpoint of information was correct. There were actually doctors, scientists, and other people that were speaking up against it, and they typically were silenced, saying that it's disinformation, it's bad news, or something like that. So when you're told to trust the science, trust your sources, trust this specific thing over here, and ignore everything else, that's very indicative of a psychological operation. Uh, the next one is tribe. Um, so polarity is amplified. So for instance, there's deniers over there, there's truthers over here, there's patriots over there, there's traitors over here. Things like that is going to isolate you into a specific tribe. So you belong to this particular tribe because you believe these certain things, and these other guys or girls or whoever over here believe something else. So that's going to be a very big part of a psychological operation. Now, keep in mind this: just because some of these may be present in whatever um, kind of event or whatever particular news that you're focused on, just because they're present doesn't necessarily mean that it's a psychological operation. This stuff does exist outside of that, but when you put all these together, the likelihood that it is very high. Kind of just like when you diagnose if you diagnose a medical condition. Well, there's, a million symptoms that are present in every medical diagnosis, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have that specific diagnosis. There's other things that play an effect, and things that they have to find out to see if you really do. So just keep that in mind. But the last one in the fate model is emotion. So they're going to pry on your emotions. They're going to manipulate your emotions. They're going to have you feeling fear. Maybe they have you feeling outrage. Maybe they have you feeling hopeful or happy, or they do a little happy story at the end of the broadcast about puppies that were saved in the rainforest. I don't know, something like that. But before that, they were just talking about some devastating thing that killed a lot of people or something like that. So you want to focus, you want to kind of figure out like what is the game plan here, like what. Why would they go from one thing to the other like that? That's kind of weird, like to have something devastating and then something not or whatever. So just look at that. So that's the fate model of a psyop. So it's focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. Emotion. The other thing you want to consider is the timing and the context. So you want to ask yourself things like, why now? Has everything been going smooth and all the information in the news had been focused on something, and then all of a sudden everything shifts to something else? And it seems maybe like it could be a distraction, or it could be just like a strategic event. Could be like celebrity drama. All of a sudden, the Diddy trial, was huge just recently, and that's all everybody talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks. The Diddy trial, the Diddy trial. Well, there's other stuff going on in the world. It's just one isolated thing. There's other, people that are accused of similar things. They haven't been gotten any mention. So why is that? So you want to look at the timing and you want to look at the context. So contextual framing would be like shifting context subtly to push you towards an intended purpose or to a specific viewpoint. That's very indicative of a psychological operation. Now, the psychological operations, it's a military term. They're not always bad, right? There's basically you have a society, you have propaganda, every society has it, and you have to gear people towards a certain viewpoint for whatever reasons. It doesn't have to be nefarious. Sometimes they are benevolent or good intentioned things to help sway society. But I mean, it's still a psychological operation. It's still something that's manipulating you into believing something that you might not necessarily believe if you had the full story, the full information, or you knew exactly what was going on. So keep in mind of the timing and the context, and also you want to look at the narrative. You want to kind of critique the narrative and the strategies. Are they pressuring you? For instance, back when we had the pandemic of some type of virus, or we were told that years ago, one thing they did all over was they would pressure you into a certain medical treatment. And they would do this by telling you that if you don't, it will hurt other people, by telling you if you by actually giving you bribes too. If you do this particular medical thing, we'll give you money. We'll give you a donut. You'll get free hamburgers and fries at a particular restaurant. Silly stuff like that is very aggressively leaning towards psyop. So does the story draw more attention than usual? That's kind of another thing with their narrative technique. So is it something that's really not that big of a deal, but it's been made into a big deal and it's all anybody talks about? There's money behind that in order to get that all over the news and get it everywhere. So what's the purpose, right? So you got to think about that. You got to remember there's a term called cognitive dissonance. And that's when information that feels emotionally unsettling might be aiming to destabilize your thinking. So they're going to use cognitive dissonance. They're going to use information that feels emotionally unsettling to destabilize your thinking. So if you believe something for a very, very long time, and we've always been told that's how it is, all of a sudden it's not, and there's some emotional trigger behind it, trying to get you upset. Manipulation has to occur through your emotions. If you don't have any emotions, if you don't show any emotions, or you control those, you're harder to manipulate. And this is why a lot of times liberals or Democrats typically are more prone to manipulation. And this isn't a popular thing that I'm saying here, but it's factually true that the less you have in your in structure or in your mindset for how things should be, right? You have laws and orders, you have rules, and the more that you get away from that, the more that you just everything goes, everything's cool, anybody can be anything, everybody can do whatever they want. There's no rules, chaos is great, all this stuff. And I'm not saying that's all it is, but that party has less restrictions. They have less rules. They think more is acceptable. So when you have less um, structure, you're going to have more manipulation, which is going to lead to more corruption, which is going to lead to um, more psychological programming or a psyop. So emotional scripts. They're going to use familiar emotional, scripts, crises. There's a savior, there's a rally, all this stuff is all the same. It's the same thing. There's some problem created. There's a solution or somebody trying to solve it. There's an outlash of dissenters who want to protest and they go out and whatever. So, the same story. So keep that in mind. And watch if the compliance part of what they're asking you to do shifts. So is there a mass buy-in? Is there a huge behavior change across a group? So, for instance, everybody's on board with one thing, and it seems like it's the best thing to do, and then a politician or somebody just all of a sudden flips the script, and now is wanting you to do the exact opposite, or wanting you to feel like we should do the exact opposite, and thinks that should just be easily accepted by all. Um, it's a compliance shift. It's called a compliance shift. Um, you know, don't take this certain medical procedure, may have been the original thing, or you don't have to, and then all of a sudden everyone has to take this medical procedure no matter what. That would be a compliance shift. Um, and then the last thing we're going to talk about on this. There's a few more things I want to get into, but I do want to get back with Echo. So I'm just going to give you the next this next thing, and then you can check out Charles Hughes, his podcast and his channel on YouTube, and get more of it. I believe he has a course as well. But the last thing I'm going to talk about real quickly is logical fallacies that are going to appeal to your emotion. So a lot of times they're going to say, if you don't support this, children suffer, or if you don't. If you don't donate here, you don't buy this, then you're not an American. Or if you don't think everybody is, if you don't think everybody should get free healthcare and free housing and everything, then you're a terrible person or whatever. There's always going to be an extreme um, kind of deal, where it's one or the other. They're going to use bandwagons a lot. Jump on the bandwagon. Everybody's doing it. Come over here, jump on this bandwagon. Um, and then they're going to give you kind of false dilemmas, or they're going to give you fake dilemmas about one thing or the other thing. Oh well, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. It's never cut and dry. It's never 100%, with that. So it's like, well, if this happens, then this is the reverse, and that's the only way. Um, so you want to check that, and you want to kind of check if there's any information being suppressed. That's kind of the biggest thing, um, is to kind of find if something is being suppressed. That is kind of how I woke up. Is I figured out that wait a second, there's evidence, there's things that are being said back years ago, and for some reason I found it yesterday, but I can't find it today. Why is that? Why would you hide information? And that's what woke up a lot of people and has awakened a lot of people is when stuff is suppressed. That should be your number one red flag that it's either a psychological operation or something's going on because you're not given the correct information, or dissenting information is suppressed. So you don't need to suppress something if it's not the truth. If something's a BS lie, why would you need to suppress it? I mean, we're not ignorant, right? You're not a dumbass, right? So if somebody suppresses something, you're going to know, okay, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't sound right. You don't need somebody to suppress that, right? Or do you? I don't know. But that's it. That's the work of Charles Hughes, U.S. Military behavioral analyst, talking about psychological operations. And that's my quick rundown of that. So you can kind of figure out now when you're watching the media, you're watching a podcast or anything like that. Is this really are they manipulating me? Are they trying to get me to think a certain way or do a certain thing? Why can't I just have the information and make the decision on my own? If they're trying to shove something down your throat, then that's probably what it is. That's not to say that people aren't going to give you facts straight up. I've done it on my podcast. Echo has on his, and there's a lot of people out there that will give you straight up, facts or information or even opinions, but usually those come from a lot of research and a lot of self reflection. Um, so hopefully that helped you guys out there. And we're gonna get back here with Echo Hotel and the Night Watch program, so that we can talk a little bit more about the recent things that are going on and kind of maybe help get you on track to why things are like they are right now. Nothing makes sense. Why is that? Well, a lot of that has to do with what we just talked about there, psychological operations. So I'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. See you soon. With that.
No, actually, what you were talking about a minute ago is true. They really pry on our emotions. Being in a hotel once a week, I'll listen to like Fox News or watch Fox News. I won't even give the other channels of the time of day.
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
still watch a little Fox News just to kind of see kind of what's going on in the world. And every other commercial is like St. Jude and donate this, and our kids are dying. And I look at it like, there's a cure,
Yeah. Right.
and it's not money. But there is a cure, but it's all about money and just donate to this and pull on the heartstrings. And it does, dude. I look at it and I'm like, fuck, I want to throw some money at it, and then I have to remember like, oh, okay, this is they're not trying to cure anything.
Right.
You
Right.
know, they're just trying to keep up the ruse so they can keep getting the money.
Yeah, I was like that with the ASPCA commercials with the animals.
Yeah, those
For
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
man, because I love dogs, and I'm seeing all these dogs. I'm like, oh man, come on, like, some of that. I mean, it's half truths. I mean, I believe some of that's probably real, but some of that stuff getting. I think they're making those scenarios kind of happen for the video. You
yeah.
know?
What's her name? The one that did City of Angels song.
Yeah, Sarah McLachlan.
McLaughlin, yeah, she's on at like 2 a.m. every day, help save the dogs.
Yeah,
And,
thinking
and
that
damn,
like,
I helped save three of them.
yeah,
I got three of them at home.
you do. That's right, man. You did your part, man.
I try.
But yeah, I mean. I don't know. There's so much disinformation out there too right now. And then, I found out that like half of this stuff, like this social media has just destroyed everything. Like half of this stuff on social media is bots. They're AI generated. It's not even real people that's
Yeah.
generating these responses and stuff. Even the stuff that sounds good, it's hard to track and follow a lot of that. And I think that's kind of part of the fog of war. That people that have awakened like we have, and there's probably millions at this point, but there's still a lot that haven't. But we know we're in a type of a war that is covert, and that isn't really seen. We're starting to see it now. I think that's all the chaos we're seeing, right? But um
Are you really seeing it? Because I still talk to people, and they're starting to see kind of like they're starting to say, what the fuck is going on? But we were saying that 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to worry about. They said 3 to 5% will never get it, and I'm starting to worry about how we're going long into this program. Like, how much longer are we going to go
Yeah.
before people actually get it? We just um, we just looked at the Ezra Cohen Watnick
Yep.
uh, letter, who says, this is all bullshit. It's all a movie. And if you look at Biden and you look at all these people, you can tell that it's not real. I don't know. I drive around every day, and I have a sense of peace. Like, okay, at any time this is just gonna be over with,
Yeah.
or maybe not. Maybe we're gonna keep going through it until people wake up. But I've run into so many people that have not fucking woken up yet to it, and I know we're just wargaming right now. We're talking back and forth,
It's
but
that cognitive dissonance, man. I think
yeah.
it really is.
I mean, it goes. I've got videos I can pull up right now, um, from 2016, um, from the inauguration, where they tell you what's going on, um, and but nobody listens. I don't know. I guess everybody's kind of in their own little world, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it seems like 60% of the people need somebody to really come out, like an authority figure, like a parent,
Yeah.
and say straight up, attention, attention, this is the truth, this is what's going on, and it's just it can't happen that way. I mean, it's never going to happen that way. You
Well,
have to.
at some point it is.
Well,
I still think it's going to happen this year, where everything's just going to shut down.
it might come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might come to that, but I don't. I guess I just mean like they need like their handheld, and it's just like you have to put a little bit into it, like you got to if you're in a college course and you're learning something, history, the professor can tell you so much, but you have to do something with the information. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like you have to go study some more and maybe answer your own questions. Like you're like, what's the War of 1812? Well, he said that it was against the British, and like so let me like you have to go look at that stuff, but I guess that's my point is like I see the same thing you say. I drive around too, and I just listen to conversations and things, and even even me, you probably do it too because you don't know where somebody is when you're talking to them. So you have that little small talk, and you're just like, "Oh, this is crazy! Like, did you just see this?" And try to gauge their reaction to see if they know anything, and they're usually like, "I don't know what's going on. This is crazy with all that," and it's just like, you have that, and then kind of gauge where they're at, but it's like. I don't know, man. It's just like nobody wants to dig into that. Maybe they don't have time. Like I
I just don't think they want to accept the reality of what's happening and what's coming. You have to meet people where they're at,
yeah.
and I remember when you and I first met, and I was trying to tell everybody and shout it from the rooftops what I just learned. And we were in that restaurant, and you're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know that." You were the first person who actually ever said, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know all about that."
And you're just like, huh? What do you mean?
Somebody else actually knows.
Yeah, it was weird for me too, but it wasn't weird. It was just like, oh, well, good because I did a shit ton of self-discovery to get to this information, so I'm glad somebody else did too. That's good to know. Um, but yeah, so to go back and talk about where we're at now. Like you said, you gave that I can't ever say the name either, but the Watnick description there said that we're watching a show. Why? Let's game theory this out then. Like, why would the show go on so much? Why would it be a fake show where there's fake people in fake offices, where there's actors playing roles all over the place, where there's what would you think would be the reason that you would put on a fake front for the world? What benefit would the individual person have for that? Or would that, or would they? You know what I mean? You know what I'm kind of asking?
Yeah, 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 I get it. Well, the reason is because well, not nobody, but plenty of people have woken up over the last 4 years. But plenty of other people haven't woken up. I talk to people every day who still think this is real, who still think Joe Biden was president.
Yeah.
And I try to, the first thing I show them is the hat, Donald Trump's hat, with 47 dash or 45-47. And it's like, okay, simple grammar tells us
Hmm.
um, 46 is in the middle. If it was 45 and 47, there'd be an and sign there, or there would be a comma there.
Yep.
But no, it's 45-47. So he is the first president since who was it? Roosevelt?
I
I think
think
it
it
was
was Roosevelt. Yep.
Roosevelt who he died in his third term. Don't quote me on it because I'm not pulling anything up right now or looking it up, but I think it was Roosevelt. Um, and there's nothing in the Constitution that says a president can't serve multiple terms. That was what Congress put into place that
Hmm.
that they can't do that. So, but we're under a military operation right now, and all you have to do is read the laws and orders.
Hmm.
Dirk Johnson lays it out really, really good. If you want to go back and read all that's a lot of information over the last 9 years. But yeah, I think we're still dealing with this because most people haven't accepted it yet. Most people are still going about their day, and they still have families to raise. They
Yeah.
still have businesses to run if their businesses are still open. Kids. So and it's heavy. It's for a lot of people. They don't want to. They don't want to think that this could actually go south at any moment.
Right.
So so
Yeah, I agree. And I guess, to get as corrupted and to get as far from our founding that we have gotten, it took a lot of generations turning a blind eye. Um, and it's probably the same reason. So I guess we can't expect people to wake up as fast when it took literally 200 years, close to get where we're at. And then, this type of behavior, what we're up against, um, has gone on way before the United States. The United States, I mean, as you know, and probably everybody that watches this type of content, was the grand experiment to actually break away from control from any crazy dictatorship type party and give the power to the people um, as a whole, and using biblical type of rule and law to accomplish that. That doesn't mean you have to believe in the Christian God or anything like that. It just, but there's a framework and a structure, and that's kind of what I was talking about. When we had you had your little our break here in the beginning when we got back, when I was talking about Psy Ops, I was talking about how they, um, you know, I guess I kind of lost my train of thought, but basically, how people, are kind of manipulated and to thinking everything's okay, for instance, and then they just kind of turn a blind eye and say, "Oh, well, no, that's not how this is," and then, you know, 1870s, 1890s, 1913, all the key indicator years where they're just stripping us of our sovereignty and of our country and our power just keeps happening to we get to a point where a secret society runs the world, runs our country, and it doesn't have to be as conspiratorial as some people make it, but I mean, I think at this point you have to admit, whoever you are, that companies, large companies, global companies run the world because they have the influence. They own all the public utilities. They own all the means of production. They own food plants, and they decide what we eat. And these are small. This is like three companies, and then it branches down from there. So, how did we get to that point? A lot of people were just living their lives, man, and trying to be good people. And I think the last thing I'll say, I guess, on this part, in my opinion, is it's kind of great to know that most people are good. And like it doesn't matter what background you are. I mean, even some of these countries we say there's the people there are bad or whatever. They might do bad things because they're protecting their family, they're protecting their society or whatever, just like us, we do. And us, I mean, the United States, we've done stuff we probably shouldn't have done in other countries and stuff to certain populations, but it doesn't make us bad. I mean, most of us all want the same thing, but I guess when we think we have it, we just turn a blind eye and allow, you know, bad stuff to take over. I don't know. I mean, just trying to put it all together, you know.
Well, it does make us bad as a nation, and when we go into other countries and under false pretenses,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
uh,
I agree with that as a country, yeah. I was just
if,
talking individually. Yeah.
oh yeah, individually, because we went in and did some really bad stuff under false pretenses, weapons of mass destruction and 9/11. Um, I don't know if you're seeing it, but every other video I'm seeing now and everything I'm seeing online seems like the 9/11 stuff is starting to come out slowly and get disclosed. That and I think most people know that after seeing Building 7 come down,
Yeah.
that that wasn't exactly what we were told.
No, but that's those false narratives that I was talking about. So it's not us because we're told false information. So who was behind that information? Is it companies? Is it individuals? Whoever that is who is causing all the chaos and causing us to believe certain things. You know, I remember when 9/11 happened. I was very patriotic. I didn't know what happened. It always looked strange to me when I watched the video for the first time. I'm like, how's that happening? And I already knew back then that the building had already been hit by a plane before. So what you know, it just didn't make sense. But I
Yeah.
believed it. I believed what I was told, and I was patriotic, and I wanted to protect people I didn't know. I wanted to, you know, whatever happened, we need to make it right. But it was a lie, and everything that happens in society, in my opinion, is literally usually a lie. Like it's all so like what we need to do is find out who is behind that, who is saying these things, and it always tends to lead back to certain things. And
Three-letter agencies
yeah, I mean,
all over the planet,
yeah,
not just
yeah,
our own.
no, no, it's just one big family, man. They're just different. You know, they're just different parts of the same family. You know, it's like you have a family reunion and you've got cousins and stuff, and you know they're over there. They live a different way. They're over there, but you're all the same family. That's what it seems like, and that's what we're waking up to. But some people just don't want to see that, I guess.
No, no, most people don't, and that's why we're still dealing with this. At some point, it's, and I think it's going to be sooner than later. At some point, it's just going to be shocking off.
Yeah.
You're either prepared or you're not. You either have food or you're not. You either have gold and silver or you don't. And I think that day is approaching a lot more quickly than most people want to believe. But in my opinion, it's probably going to start next week. I
Yeah,
don't know if you saw silver.
I
Silver
did.
moved up like $2 this week. Gold didn't really move with it, but silver did, and crypto's just exploded. What Bitcoin's at what 119,000 right now. And
Well, silver is actually, I mean, it's not technically more valuable than gold, but we use it more than gold because that's what coins and everything, that's our commodity that we trade with, and it's more universally recognized than gold. So that makes sense. If it went up, yeah, that could be an indicator for sure.
I don't think we ever showed on any of our podcasts. I have a picture of it on my laptop of the constitutional treasury money that's coming.
Mm, yes.
Um,
Are you talking about the rainbows?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love those. It's the coolest looking money you'll ever see, man. I really hope that is what it comes out to look like because you know, they're pretty badass if I can say that.
Maybe we can bring that up. I'll find it on my laptop and see if we can bring that up because a lot of people probably have no idea. The Federal Reserve notes are no more federal than what Federal Express and
Yeah, a lot of people think that's federal too. I had friends, I talked to, and they're like, "What are you talking about? That's federal." Like, no, it's just the name. It's a private company. They're like, "Well, they can't do that. They use the word federal." Well, they got away with it back then. So,
the Federal Express and
yeah.
everybody else. But yeah, constitutional money is a whole different thing than dollars or Federal Reserve notes and dollars. So, but yeah,
Pretty cool. They call it rainbow currency because there's some colors to it. Kind of like a holographic picture of presidents and stuff in the middle, and if I remember right, there's some greens and blues and yellows and different things.
and it's coming sooner than later.
Yeah, well, I think we talked off the air. You had mentioned about the fences going up at the Treasury, so that's another thing that
Yeah,
shows, you
that's the next
know,
fight.
that's the
You know,
next fight. Yeah, the
the
operation
flagpoles went
shows you.
up.
Yep.
The flagpoles went up at the White House, which showed us that um, the White House is back under constitutional law,
Right.
back under the soil jurisdiction. And so they put fences up around the White House. They put fences up around the Treasury. They didn't put fences up around anything else. Well, they did 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like we've talked about before, a lot of this stuff was handled 4 or 5 years ago. But the next fight is with the Treasury, and so we'll see what happens this next week. But we've been telling people for a long time: have gold, have silver, have food, have just be ready. And hopefully, there's people that listen. And
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe there's people that didn't. And those are the brothers and sisters that we're going to have to, like Alyssa says, we're going to have to, or Lisa. She doesn't like it when I call her Alyssa.
Right.
Those are the people that we're going to have to help out and bring up behind us and give a hand to, who are going to come along and be like, wow, okay, I guess you guys were right. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, so you kind of talking about, being under land law, with the flags and different things. And, some people, I would hope the people that watch our broadcast, they probably know a little bit about that. We've had, Brandon John, what's his name?
Brandon Joe, Joe
Brandon Joe Williams
Williams, yeah.
on, who talks a lot about the law. We've had, other individuals I can't think of right now. But we've had people on that have kind of gone down that road with the different types of laws. But I did want to tell you this because you brought when you said that about the flag, it reminded me. I was on, and this is kind of cool. Check this out. So I was on my university's website. I still have an email address for my college. That was like their gift to us. I remember them saying like, we'll never delete this. This will always be your email, right? So I'm like, for some reason I was like, let me check my email real quick. So I figured out how to log into the thing. It comes up, there's like 15,000 messages in it from just spam or whatever that they send to the students. Uh, but I was like, let me click around and see what kind of classes they have now. And I was on there, and they have like a new program in the legal under the legal banner of the university, which I was always kind of interested in. But they've changed a lot in it, and this is the coolest thing. They have they don't have like they have a law school, but I'm trying to think of the actual. It no longer says law. It says water law.
Really?
Swear, dude. It doesn't, it used to just say, the degree was something and then it was law. No, it literally says water law now.
So it doesn't say Admiralty or any it just says water law.
Yeah. I'm like, what? That's kind of weird. So they're like distinguishing the law as being water law instead of land law or air law.
I mean, that's self-disclosure.
That's what yeah. I'm like, check that out, man. So things are changing.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, things are definitely changing.
and that's a public institution. That's a state-run school. And now they no longer have law, this particular law class. It's called water law class.
Water law. So what is water law? That's what you need to like email them back to. What is water law?
Yeah.
Get some on the record.
Is that like Admiralty? Are they talking about Admiralty or like, Yeah, I want to get them on the record. Maybe I'll do that. I'll
Yeah.
do that.
I'll ask them about the birth certificates and where we're at in the jurisdictional realm these days.
Yeah. I'll be on the land. I like the land. I'll be on the land.
That's where I'm
Land.
at these days. They keep trying to draw me back into the water.
Oh yeah.
Keep offering all these contracts, and no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
good.
good here where I'm at.
Yep, the land is fine with me. It's kind of hard with the type of work we do though too. I've been drugged right off the bat when I had to go back to do this work. Like two times I was pulled over and kind of harassed about stuff, but it wasn't really that bad. And there must be something because they just say, see you later, have a good day.
Um,
So I mean, we've talked about that before too, but so that, yeah, there's got to be something new updating in systems or something, man, because no, it was just strange. Or maybe I just was lucky twice in a row. But I don't know.
I don't know. I try to avoid any of that jurisdictional issues. There's driving and then there's traveling, and I try to separate them out.
Yeah, I was driving at the time, so I was kind of under their wing. But yeah, I hope so. What do you see? So next week, um, it should be a pretty big week in the financial world, is what I've been seeing too. I just bought some more XRP last night, just in case. I mean, it's like I think it's safer than going to the casino. So
Oh, 100% safer.
yeah, so I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, can't really lose much. I mean, you could, but I doubt
Well,
it.
I mean, at some point, Bitcoin was $1,
It
$2,
was.
and now it's at 119,000. So it's just a matter of time. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I remember when it was that and then the I remember it was like $300 and I thought about buying one and I'm like, nah, man, stupid. What is that? Like I don't even why would I want digital money? I don't want none of that stupid stuff. So I didn't buy it. And then, a year goes by and it's like 8,000 and then a year goes by and now we're up to $120,000 for one Bitcoin. I could have had four for $1,000, you
I
know.
know. Imagine that.
That's all right.
I know. I think about the same thing. I'm like, damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I know you are too. You're right
Yes,
where you
sir.
are. And
Yes, sir. Yes, that's right.
when we're meant to ride into the sunset, um, then that's where we'll go. But for right now, yeah, we're meant to be right here. So
Yep, you got it right, man. What do you got on your tabs? I know you got something up there.
um, let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll dive into it's mostly the same stuff that we've shown before, just kind of reinforcing stuff from like 9 years ago.
Yeah,
You know, the inauguration and other stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Sounds good, man. Let's do it. All
all
right,
right.
man. We'll take a break. We'll be back here in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
You are watching and listening to the All Aware podcast. Like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are tuning into this episode. Help spread awareness. For more information about the show, visit our website at allawarepodcast.com.
We are the rulers of our own time. This is our life, building a new world. We banish the dark. We are the rulers of our own time. This is our life. We're in a new world. We are the rulers. Brace for the countdown. Change has arrived. The light's taken over the night. We fought and we conquered through blazes of fire. We claimed what we came for, with flames in our eyes. We are the rulers of our own time. This is our life, building a new world. We banish the dark. We are the rulers of our own time. This is our life. We're in a new world. We are the rulers. Together we rise. Together we fall.
You are watching and listening to the All Aware podcast on the Truance Network. Cut through the fluff. Get the truth. Back to the episode.
I know.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots and lots and lots of shows like this out there, and a lot of people that, and we don't get anything out of this other than, public service. It costs money to run the platforms, and we're not monetized. We have full-time jobs, and we have problems just like everybody else. We're just like everybody else, and we just know the truth, or at least enough of it that we know how severe this is, and that people need to know it. And we're willing to put our credibility and our, put ourselves on the line to get the information out. And there's more. There's more. I mean, I get some people have taken it and have profited off of it, and have just gone off the rails with it. And now they're into, but I think they phase some of those out, because we're now in a situation where the people that did that have handlers, where, now they're dissenting. Now they're saying weird stuff, and they're kind of losing it. And I think that's how you can tell who's, in my opinion, who's controlled and who's kind of gone a little bit off the edge. There's people that I followed for a very long time that now they're saying wacko stuff. And it's like, one of them we had on our show. That's all I'll say. Huh?
Which one?
I can't tell you. We had this gentleman on our show. We had a good conversation with him. I don't want to say too much more, but I'll tell you off the air if you can't think of him. But I don't know if you follow him.
Give me a hint. We had a lot of them.
Yeah, let me see how to say this. Hold on. This guy, he was a younger character, and he spent some time in a facility. And a lot of people, there were more than just him that were in this facility, and they weren't treated very well. And he was just trying to represent his country. You know what I'm talking about? This is fun, man. It's like charades, but with words.
We've had so many cool people on that.
I know. He's still probably cool, but he's saying some very aggressive, negative things, and it just it's kind of out of character. So I'm assuming, something maybe has triggered him, or he
got handled.
He got handled. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yep. So it happens. It definitely happens.
So we played this before, or I know I have. Not sure if we played it together, but let me pull this up and share it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is what.
Oh, I love that speech. I listen to that when I go to bed sometimes, man.
Yeah, this is. I love this one. So I think I've got all the right boxes checked. So let's play this for a minute.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington, and for the global special interests, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation. And this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
That's amazing. Yep, exactly. You know, and like the thing is, he said he didn't have to do this, and he didn't. He had a perfect life. He had the life that anybody would have wanted. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Couldn't see the video, but I could hear it. The video wasn't playing for some reason,
You
but
couldn't see it?
no, I could only hear it. It was like frozen on a black screen, but I thought maybe it was just audio or something.
No, it showed up on this end.
But no, I mean, it's true. And, the weird thing, when you look at You look at like why everybody loved Trump prior to him running for the presidency.
Mhm.
And you had Oprah, you had The View, Whoopi, uh, all these people that red-haired, goofy Kathy Griffith or whatever the heck her name is. All these people loved him, and all of a sudden he talks about fixing the country, and now everybody hates him.
Yeah.
It's weird. To me, that was just really weird. Like, so everybody loves him. He's not saying. I mean, well, first they had once he started running, if we all remember, the media went on a 2 year tirade of just bashing, bashing, bashing everything he said, did, looked at, comments he made off camera in the locker rooms and stuff that any guy makes all the time, is vilified and put to a level that's just like he's some kind of despicable, evil, disgusting thing. And it was just weird. That was the thing. And it's like, so why was so many people against him? If we want to go back and look and see why we got to where we're at, why, when he first started running, was he vilified so much when literally like 5 years previous to that, he was being glorified. He was on all these shows. Everybody loved him. They were so happy to see him. Yes, he went to events. That's the other thing people try to bring up. Well, he knows Epstein. He knows all these different people. Of course, he knows those people. He ran in those circles because he was in that level. I mean, just like, you know, you and I, met, we worked at the same company. We know all those same people. I don't work there anymore. But if you name off names, I know who they are. I could have a picture with them probably at a company meeting, right? Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
from like 5 years ago or whatever. But, that doesn't mean I know what they're doing today. That doesn't mean that, we hang out with them or whatever. But anyways, I just thought that was very strange. That was one of the things that woke me up originally too, was looking at, okay, here's this guy. He's kind of a outright boisterous guy, but he seems pretty honest to me. It's pretty straightforward. Everybody loved him. Now certain people hate him. He hasn't done anything but run for president.
Well, he planned on taking everybody down.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, that's when they stopped liking him and started hating him because he was going to take down the swamp.
Yep. And probably they were part of it.
Yeah.
The only reason why they would hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I still think, I thought you could see the video. So when I was watching the video, one of the few things that, because I've seen it so many times, one of the few things that jumped out at me was in one of the pictures, and this video was from 2016. Um, he had a white hat on. Even
Mm.
back then, he had a white hat on. And it was like, wow, okay, so this has been going on for a lot longer than we've been led to believe. And one of the shots there was Janet Yellen, and Janet Yellen was the Treasury Secretary. Now, and this a lot of people may not understand what we're talking about here, but Janet Yellen said she was going to come out with a new $5 bill a couple of years ago under Biden, and we all know it wasn't Biden, but
Yeah.
that $5 bill never came out, and the Trump administration brought the Federal Reserve to heel in early 2017. And if you don't believe that, go and look at any bill in your wallet, $100 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill. There is not a bill printed past 2017. You could pull a $100 bill out of your wallet right now, and you will not find one. You will not find any bill printed past 2017. The last bills printed by the Federal Reserve were in 2016.
Man, I really
2016.
want to go. I want to go grab my wallet and check it out, man.
I've got one right now. I'll go grab one and we'll look at it on camera.
I'm gonna grab mine too. I'm
All right.
serious. I want to see this. All right. All right, we're back here. I got my wallet. You probably can't see it because it's black and on my background, but I got it. You got yours?
Yeah, I went and grabbed a bill out of my wallet.
Because I don't usually carry cash. So that's why I want to do it too, is because I actually have cash this time. So I'm gonna see I've got
I always have cash on me.
cash is king, bro.
Yes, you never know when you're going to need it, especially when the system goes down soon.
Right. So I have a Hamilton in here. It's my first bill, a 10. Series is 2006.
All right, you're gonna have to adjust the bill because it just looked blank.
All right. Oh my, there you go.
That's a little better. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go, right there.
All right.
I can't see the date, but
Maybe you can zoom in or something. I don't.
yeah.
But trust me. Let me see if I can. No, it won't do it because of my background. All right. Next one I have is a Washington, 2017.
What was the first one?
First one was 2006.
Okay.
So this is 2017. That's what Echo just said. Nothing after. This one looks kind of newer. Let's see. Another dollar bill, 2017. And that's all I have right now in my wallet. But what do you got?
The only thing I had, because I went to church today and donated my 20s. So
Nice.
um, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, the only thing I have is a $100 bill, and it's a 2009. The signature is Timothy Geithner, and I'm not sure if you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Hang on, don't move it because I got to change my view. Here we go. Yeah, I see it.
Um, Not that that proves anything, but for the audience, just go out there and try and find a Federal Reserve note past 2017. You're not going to find it. Um, all the bullshit that Janet Yellen put out there 2 years ago or 3 years ago about I'm going to have a new $5 bill. It's all bullshit. You won't find it. Um, Federal Reserve hasn't put out a new note since the last one I saw was 2017. And
Well, that's like 8 years, and it's coincidentally that's what the year right after the first Trump election.
yeah, yeah. So once Trump, and that was what they said, that once Trump won the election, the Federal Reserve came to heel under the Treasury very quickly after that. So that's what makes me think that that this whole military operation goes back a hell of a lot further than we've been told. We've been told that it all started in 2020. Um, but if you look at
Well, Q
and
operation was 2017.
right,
Just was just that specific part of it. Yeah.
but nobody knew what they were looking at. The Q
Right.
movement started in I think October of 2017.
Yeah.
But if you look at and I have it pulled up too, um, the funeral for Poppy Bush, Joe Biden was not Joe Biden. Um, the ears were different, everything was different, but nobody was looking at that back then. And that
Mm.
was and that was like 2017, 2018.
Hmm.
So but not to get too far off the rails, but with the dollar bill, or not the dollar bill, the $100 bill that we just showed. So let's kind of go back to this. You have one side, and I know you know what I'm talking about, Nathan, because we've been through this before. You have one side that's black and white, and you have the other side that is color. So that is a transitional bill from a dead agency, the Federal Reserve, over to the Treasury, which is constitutional money. So this was being, in my mind, this was planned out a long time ago. Just most of us didn't see it until now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, um, every so many years, 100 years or so, there's a reset. Historically, and a lot of times it seems like from what I've researched, a lot of it gets wiped out. The history gets wiped out. History is written by the victors. They change stuff. We've heard stuff recently about Tartaria and about different historical events. So I think that this is probably time for another reset. But the thing is, what we're really fighting for is is it going to be a reset for the people, or is it going to be a reset for the old guard, basically the families, the bloodlines, the lineage who's always getting control because everybody else is just going with their daily lives. And it seems like it's going our way. And I think and I can't remember the guy's name. There's a military whistleblower who came out years ago about Project Looking Glass. And you know about that, right? About the machine that's in one of the secret bases. It might have
Hmm.
been Area 51 or Area or SR 22 or wherever it was. And then there was like one path where humanity survived this reset. And it seems to be the one that we're on because we're all still here. One,
Yeah.
if Hillary would have won back in that election, uh, it's likely what it's been said through the vine that we wouldn't have been here right now. We would have been nuked, or the world would have would have been very different if we were here.
Well, no, we would be here right now, but they would have the COVID would have come in, and they would have locked us down, and they wouldn't have opened anything up until probably 2028, and then supposedly there was a nuke event that would have happened, and they blame it on North Korea, and we would have gone to war. And at
Yeah,
that
that's another yeah line too. There was multiple realities that they viewed, and none of them turned out good except for this one.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, when you first hear it, it sounds like a good sci-fi movie, and then, as things have happened, I tend to believe that there's probably some truth to that.
Well, yeah, you look at what we've gone through for the last 5 years. Who would have believed that?
Yeah, right? Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, there's so I think but back to what I was saying, I guess, about, so the history, there's a lot of history I think that has been written by people, and this even includes some of the religious texts. I think, the one thing I don't like is when you manipulate historical texts such as the Bible. The fact that there's so many books missing is very strange. And if you do any kind of research on it, you'll find that some of those books were accounts that were talking about human, power, and where we derived our power from, and that we can, you know, and how to sync in with nature and the universe and stuff. But it's gone, and the only things that remained are the sections that tell you how to obey, certain humans. I just think that was very strange that, it just, I'm not saying that stuff's bad and it's bad information. It's still very valid information. It's just when you start taking books away, that's when it questioned me, like, okay, who thinks that they have the authority to take any books away from a religious text? Like, oh, well, we're just gonna put, it was a king, obviously, but King James, but it's like we're gonna hold on to these 12 books and we're gonna delete these other whatever, however many. I mean, that's so all that comes to a head, and this is why I think some of us believe the stuff we believe, because if you take it all in, you can understand that we've been lied to forever, because of perceptions and stuff. People win wars. They're not going to tell you outright that they just slaughtered an entire village. They're going to say, oh, well, they were bad, we were good, and we took them over, kind of thing. So I don't know. I guess I'm rambling for no reason, but
To the
there's,
victims and the spoils, right?
that's right. That's right. But maybe we got it this time.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I think I know we're in good shape.
Yeah.
We just need to bring the population with us. And
Yeah.
the problem is most people are still involved in the bread and circus and the football and the baseball and
The
they don't they don't
distractions.
they don't care. Yeah, the distractions. They don't care about what's going on right now, like you and I do. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and to the point where if this ever really went south, I would really be worried. And I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not worried at all. I'm more worried about the people that don't see it and are going to be surprised by it. And those are the people that I've been trying to tell for years. This is coming, and no, that's not coming. That'll never happen.
Yeah, that's what they said.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and probably now sooner than later. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But yeah,
I agree, man. I agree. Well, how much time we got, man? I forgot I have a early morning thing. I gotta do have somebody picking me up and it's like after 1 a.m. here.
yeah, it's so what is it over here? Oh yeah, my phone is plugged in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
well,
like
let's cut
almost
it
1.
short, and maybe we can throw something together that provides a little bit more clarity for where we're going. I know tonight was just a discussion on a lot of this stuff, and maybe some people have heard it before, maybe they haven't. Go look at your dollar bills, your tens, your fives, your hundreds. See if there's anything past 2017. You won't find it.
So what do you contribute that to? What does that mean? I'm just kind of asking for the layman.
It means that the Federal Reserve was brought to heel under the Trump administration early in 2017, and that what we're watching right now is just a show. Powell's going to resign, or he's not going to resign. It's all bullshit. It's just meant to wake people up, and we'll see. We'll see if it does it or if it doesn't. If you've got some gold or some silver or some cryptos, and you've got them in the right places, you'll be fine. If you don't, then you might want to go out and get some. Um, we were telling people to do this 5, 6 years ago when gold was 1,500 and silver was like $17.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and look where we're at now. We're going back to a gold-backed system. The Golden Dome. What do you what does that mean? Going back to the gold-backed system.
Yeah.
What did I don't remember her name, but she's one who kind of verified that Trump and the Patriots brought 650 plane loads of gold out of the Vatican, out of Italy.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the consultant, the analyst
Yeah,
for the Trump administration that went on
it was a British
Fox.
TV show, but
Okay.
we all knew it before then. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's you know
Yeah.
we've been saying this for years. So yeah, get some gold, get some silver. Sorry you missed out if you didn't listen 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we can come back on and talk some more and keep going and kind of give updates of what's going on, you know, going forward, I guess.
Yeah, we need to get on the air probably once a week. We're coming up because I think things are about to get a lot more interesting than they have been. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty much been ramping up here this year, and then up to July 4th, and now we're past that. And I follow a lot of Kim Clement prophecies. Got him early on. I know you know who he is too, and a lot of other people do now too. And
He's
he's pretty dead serious about stuff. Yeah, it's unfortunate, he passed years ago, but he was uh he was
too bad he
definitely.
couldn't be here to celebrate.
Yeah, really. That's the thing, right? So yeah, if you haven't heard of him, go look up his stuff. It's all over YouTube. He's been prophesizing this stuff now since the early two
Talks
thousand.
about the two presidents.
Yeah, he talks about July. He talks about this year actually. He's talking about the fall, what to expect in the fall, and you know, about everything really. It's really crazy. But yeah. Well, Echo, I'm glad we got to get on here and chat, my friend, and
Yeah, just a discussion about what's coming and what we think's going on. So
I'm ready for a Mexico trip, man.
you and me both.
So yeah, maybe one of these days soon we'll be able to get back down there and do a show.
Maybe we can bring some listeners down with us.
Yeah, there we go. If you want to come, we do a little conference down there or something.
A little in-person podcasting.
Yeah, just chat. So if you want to go to Mexico, comment on the video. Give us some likes, give us some shares, and who knows, maybe you'll be going to Mexico with us.
Found that thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up, likes, share it, definitely share it, and we'll be back on again. So till next time, for my crew over here at All Aware, you are all aware, and Echo, we'll see you next time, brother.
All right. Thanks, Nathan.
Good night, man.